It's hard to describe the feeling of standing here. 4 centuries of history extends across this wall. Each tile and stone tells the story of emperors, courtiers, and dreamers. This is the picture wall of Lahore Fort, built under various Mughal emperors, and it's one of the largest murals of the world. And the picture wall is only one of many treasures that is being revived within the Lahore Fort. The fort is a 20-hectare Mughal citadel at the heart of Old Lahore. It represents the pinnacle of Mughal artistic achievement, a fusion of Persian, Central Asian, and South Asian aesthetics brought together at the heart of the empire's cultural power. Most of it was rebuilt in the 17th century when Mughal art was at its peak. The fort grew from Akbar's early foundations to Shah Jahan's marble masterpieces and Aurangzeb's Alamgiri Gate, later passing through Sikh and British hands before becoming a UNESCO World Heritage Site. For years, it was crumbling, but now it's coming alive again. There have been efforts to restore the fort before, from colonial repairs to small conservation projects in the early 2000s. But for the first time in its history, this revival is being led by young Pakistanis working for the Aga Khan Cultural Service, Pakistan. They've teamed up with the Walled City of Lahore Authority and various international donors to bring the fort back to life.
If you see globally, World Heritage is governed by certain rules and regulations, and we have to follow those rules. But remember one thing, that these rules are mostly drawn by Western philosophers, Western architects. So we have to alter according to our own cultural norms, our own cultural setting.
And this is no easy task. Behind every restored tile is a whole team of architects, artists, scientists, and engineers, all working to bring back the colors of the Mughal Empire. And much of what's happening here is chemistry. Meet Zaina Nasir, a material scientist and one of the few people in Pakistan combining art and chemistry. Her team climbs up about 100 feet multiple times a day to make sure each detail is taken care of.
What's truly special about it is that you have all sorts of decorations that were used in Mughal architecture. But normally you see floral and geometric patterns everywhere in Mughal period, but you never see figurative panels. So this is what this wall is really known for. So a lot of portraits of ordinary men, workers, calligraphers, candlelight bearers, sword fighters who are fencing, all these different sorts of scenes that the craftsmen must have seen at the Mughal court themselves. I think what's very important about this project is that a lot of the work that we're doing is pioneering, because we didn't have any past precedents of how to conserve this kind of decorative work. But this project really emphasizes on preservation, which means that you're freezing the existing condition of what you found instead of making new. So the number one thing that we do, which we did at the very beginning of the project also, is that we have to do scientific tests to understand what problems the monument is going through. You have to completely and fully understand the history of the monument, what kind of interventions it went through, how the construction was executed, and all these things you are able to place in context only with scientific analysis. So understanding what the materials used were made of, how the art technology was executed, what were the construction techniques. So a lot of chemical and physical tests help you getting a good perspective on all of that. I was always a science student who was sort of torn between the arts and the sciences, right? And I was very into history and culture. So I thought if I want to stay in the field of science, this is the only field that I would be happy in. Sometimes when I'm standing here now, I'm like, I'm going to miss being at this height, because I don't think I'll get a project like this, which is so large in scale.
And it's not just about beauty. Engineers and architects are making sure that the fort survives another 400 years. They're rebuilding hammams, stabilizing ancient foundations, and constantly investigating how the original builders from the Mughal era achieved this level of beauty and precision. One of them is Salma, a Hunza native who is working on reviving the At Tara built during the Sikh era.
So it's called Ardara since it has 8 openings. Other interesting part is they've used intensively the red sandstone. They have carved red sandstone. You'll meet some of the ustads. They are the master craftsmen. So they are currently working on some of the carving part. The interesting part is we have recycled some of the stone, get from inside the fort in the garbage. It was in the garbage. So we took the stone and we are now recycling and fixing on the platform. So some of the ustad, he's working on the crafting of the red sandstone. So you can see the condition of the monument right now. So this is the carved part. So that was completely deteriorated. What we used to do is like we document this part, and on the basis of this, on the basis of the evidence we found on site, we do the restoration work. So you can see over here. So they are crafting its all handmade work since it was done by hands during the Mughals.
1993 के अंदर मैं छोटा था जब मैं इन इमारतों में आया था मकबरा जहांगीर में उधर से मैंने ये शुरुआत की थी मेरे उस्ताद थे उन्होंने मुझे ये फिर काम सिखाया शौक़ था कुछ थोड़ा जो मुग़ल तर्ज का होती है उसी के मुताबिक ही हम काम करते हैं उसके हट के हम कोई काम नहीं करते.
So the best part is initially we had one ustad. Now he's training more people. Now there is a team of like 4 people who are experts of the marble crafting.
तो ये बनाने में कितनी देर लगती है?
इसको एक पीस बनाने में तकरीबन 20 से 25 दिन लग जाते हैं.
So you can see some of the incredible paintings inside. So right there, these are one of its kind. So those are done on the marble with the gilding. So you can see the miniature paintings over there. We are just restoring the monument which was built by Ranjit Singh. The initial part is the structure stabilization. If structure is good to go, then afterward we start working on the surface. This is the B part of the Ardara. This is the Sikh period hammam. So the architecture is Mughal, but the reuse in a later period, they've converted this place into a hammam. So there is the tank over there, which is connected to this tank, and there's other tank which is on the rooftop. So water was coming with the water channels to the rooftop, and from rooftop it comes to the tank over here. The incredible part was the conservation of the false ceiling for us. Initially there was nothing left. It was all covered with the later intervention in paint. We weren't able to find any floral pattern, but when we start removing the layers, so we figured out some of the incredible floral patterns on the ceiling. So we have, on the basis of that, we have digitally documented all the panels, and we have revived and restored the entire false ceiling.
Sanya, who first came here as an intern, is now an expert on how Mughal architects built a water and drainage system well beyond their times. As an architect, how do you understand places like the Sheesh Mahal? Because, you know, from outside we've stepped in and suddenly it's cooler.
Yeah. Apart from the aesthetic thing that we appreciate the Mughals for, there's the engineering aspect that has to be appreciated as well. So Sheesh Mahal is the best example of how they use water and integrated water to make sure that passive cooling was, a big part of these structures. And as the air flew from the main courtyard over the tanks and flew into these chambers, the air was much cooler and hence a much better thermal comfort. Secondly, under this floor, there are multiple channels in which water used to flow, and that made the floor cool as well. Also, for the investigations that we carried out to understand the drainage, Mughal drainage better, sort of gave us an idea of how the Mughals were thinking about water. So there are multiple bubbling fountains in this basin, and when it rains, even today, through pressure, the bubbling fountains start working. So that is really interesting. We have not been able to restore them fully because we are yet to be 100% sure that that was how it was working, and if we have the right materials to restore that.
And then there's Etizaz, who has helped rediscover these rooms inside the fort after 400 years.
We discovered this from the picture wall openings. First we entered from the openings of the picture wall, and we found that there were dark rooms. Then we came to know that there is a whole chamber beneath the quadrangles. Mughals have made those rooms, and after the Mughals no one has discovered those rooms. Those were closed from all the sides, but during our investigation process initially we found a crack here in this structure. When we dig the crack, we found that there are dark rooms below. So we punctured from here, and we went down, and we found that there are a series of rooms which were built during the Mughal times, and after the Mughals these were closed.
We have figures from 2019 which says that Lahore Fort attracts more than 5 million visitors. Imagine if you link these 5 million visitors with various economic activities. It is a small economy, a small size economy. It can generate a lot of income for the citizens of Lahore, citizens of Punjab, and citizens of Pakistan.
Here in the heart of Lahore, history isn't trapped behind glass. It's being rebuilt in real time by people who love it. Artists, architects, engineers, scientists, all are breathing life back into a monument that once defined a civilization.